what we consume, and that's where we spend our money. So we'll go to the next chapter, which is the consumption. This is the most important thing that you need to understand. It's a money trap. So how many of you are aware of something called rat race? I'm sure you would have heard it somewhere that rat race is an endless and a self-defeating and a pointless pursuit. But yeah, just look at the image which I'm sharing currently. This is what 95% of the humans on Earth are actually trapped in something called a rat race cycle. So what is a rat race? A rat race is actually you be happy when you earn that income, and then when you go home, you have your responsibilities to pay the bills. And then since you live in a particular society, you have to purchase or buy something so that you make up to that society. So you purchase something and you do immediate gratification. And the end of the month, you have no savings left, and your expenses are beyond your income. So you're living beyond your means. You spend everything that you earn. And at the end of the day, when there's something that comes up, some emergency that comes up, you don't have money to take care of it. And what you do is you go into the debt cycle and the loan cycle. So you have car loans, credit card loans, salary loans, appliances loans. This is the worst. I mean, the many kinds of loans are being offered today, and it's marketed a hell lot of way. The idea is to be aware of something called a rat race cycle, since you will be going into that real world. And I would want you to be aware that such thing is there, that when you earn, even if you earn a lakh of rupee or even 10 lakh rupee, this cycle will always exist. Unless and until you're not aware of it, you will be held up in this cycle and you'll never be able to come out of this cycle. So the first step is to be aware, being aware. So what is being aware? Is to be self-aware is not the absence of mistakes, but the ability to learn and correct from them. So there are mistakes happening, you being aware and you're trying to correct it, and so that these mistakes can be avoided going forward. So the first thing to do is to come out of rat race is journal all your expenses. Or a book, or there are a lot of apps today. So keep on journaling where you're spending it. So because unless and until you're not aware of where my expenses are going, you will not be able to control it. There's something called and majority people would not want to do that because of something called ostrich effect. You know what ostrich does when it sees danger? It tries to duck its head under the sand, and it seems that it feels that if its head is covered, it is out of danger. I mean, it doesn't have to worry about anything else. So this is what happens. I mean, it's a cognitive effect that causes people to avoid information that they perceive as potentially unpleasant. Like you go for a party and next day and you spend some X amount over there, and next day you're afraid to check what is my bank balance or what is my balance left. So that's called ostrich effect. I mean, so you need to come out of it by facing it and journaling all your expenses. And the second thing would be to take control by budgeting. So you need to know where I should spend, how much I should spend, and once you do that, you will know that you will be in better control of your behavior by budgeting all the expenses. So as the thumb rule goes, 40% of your needs, your monthly income should go towards your food, shelter, medical, your basic needs. 20% towards utility spending. Utility spending would be if you are, say, working. Try to spend the 20% on bettering yourself, in enhancing your skills, so that you are better marketable, so that you can demand more higher pay. So that's how your 20% of the income should go initially years before you get married. After that, there's a lot of expenses that will actually get tied up too. So initially, it is better how much better equipped that you can be. You should try spending more time on that. So 20% should go towards the utility spending. Say 20% should go towards the investment, because it is good to start early. And with the investment, I would say start with the emergency fund. Say what is emergency fund would be having a backup for initially 3 to 4 months of all the expenses. So even if you don't buy if you even don't make investment, make an investment in having an emergency fund. What if tomorrow happens something? What if an untoward happens? You don't have to go somewhere and take debt, or go somewhere and ask your friend or ask your uncle. You need to have your own self money, so that you can actually be on your legs and stand again. So initially, ideally would be when you start and go to work, 3 to 4 months of expenses that you need to make an emergency fund. Going forward, the ideal would be 6 months of your monthly expenses. And of course, we all would love to indulge in luxury. So 10% should always be allocated to luxury, because money is there to be enjoyed and to cherish, to take, to enjoy what we can afford. So 10% should go into luxury. So second part we have seen is how to take control is budgeting. The third, and under this, even more important is to arrest leaky buckets. Yes, arrest your money leaks. Wherever you find that money is leaking out, try to fill that crap. Initially, it would be like learn to be thrifty in right sense. Thrifty in sense, say if I want to buy a coffee and the coffee would cost me like 30 rupees. And if I just travel like a kilometer far and I get a good coffee for 20 rupees, why not do that? Just going kilometer will help me save 10 rupees. I'm giving an example. Or I'll give you one more example. Say if you have to buy something and you do a research and you find out that X or Y place is getting more cheaper, or if you use some credit card online and you get some cashbacks, the item that you're buying is getting even more cheaper. Or try other multiple websites that you have today and see where you can find it more cheaper. So this is being thrifty in the right sense. So make smart choices while purchase. In a smart choice, I would say, is that required for me to buy right now? Or do I have any alternative? Or can I just live with what I have right now without upgrading myself? So try to make smart choices while you're doing any your purchase, because you don't want the money to leak out. It's so easy today to lure someone through advertisements and to entice someone and then make you to buy it. So that way you are going to lose your money. But the thing is, you need to be aware of it and stop it. And third part is any AMC contracts that you have which you don't require and which you think you can do it yourself, that should be because see, AMC contracts are something which comes on monthly basis, or like you say, I should not say this but today, but maybe your Netflix, Amazon, if you don't use it, or that way you can actually cancel it, because the immediate intent is to stop these monthly installments or monthly AMCs, which actually take your money out without even your knowledge, because they come in the initial months, start of the salary to time. Your salary is 1, they all come in 1 to 5. They'll take away your money, and then you'll be left with nothing. So try to block, try to identify where I can the repeated payments or recurring payments, wherever I do have, where I can stop it. So try to buy your groceries, medicines where you can find it cheaper. There are a lot of options these days. Online, there are a lot of options where you can find it cheaper and a good fresh variety. So medicines you can buy easily at 10% discount or 15% discount these days. So these are all of options available. And always note that when you buy, always note what's the price per quantity. So that way you'll be aware that you're not overpaying, because sometimes what happens is a small size would cost more than you buy a bigger size. So always be aware of the price per quantity, and whenever possible, try to buy a family saver pack if you have more number of people. If you're staying alone, try to buy for something. So if you buy for 1 week, try to buy for 2 to 3 weeks, so that you save on that. When you buy bulk, you actually save a lot. Trust me, this is going to be a big saver if you identify price per quantity part. And then make a list of services that cost every month and unsubscribe, which we saw in the smart in the AMC contracts. Anything that is actually costing you month on month, you need to identify which you don't want. Just stop it. You don't have to pay for that and then keep paying it month on month. So ultimately, what you save is also what you earn. So money saved is money earned. And the most important part is being aware of the traps. There are a lot of traps around you. You do not know how these traps are laid out. But the more important thing is being aware of all these traps. The first thing is the trap is once you come out of the college and once you get a nice working job, credit card will be your easiest first debt trap. As we go into the rat race, you will be enjoying your time and then you will not be knowing how to handle money. And in the end, you will be facing financial crunches. and then you'll be forced to take. I mean, then you'll feel, what is the easiest way I can get my money or get the money without asking someone. So that will be a credit card, because credit card, once you move out or once you have a job, you'll be easily able to access a credit card. And with credit card comes at a huge cost. Yes, it's a huge interest rate at around 4 to 5%, and it's a huge cost. Once your CIBIL is affected, you will never ever be able to be eligible to take loans in near future. So always keep your CIBIL report clean. Don't take more number of cards. Don't go inquiries or go shopping for cards. If you get one card, just be sufficient with it. If you just want to use it and then close it in the next month, don't drag it by paying monthly interest. That's a huge interest. 5% is a huge amount. So just be aware. I mean, because you may be signing off for your friend as a guarantor. So what happens is it affects your CIBIL. And then when you really need the money, or when you really go for that home loan, when you want to build a family or settle on a family, you will not be eligible because you have this past history. So just be aware of this credit card, because credit card has actually not helped many people who are disciplined actually take advantage of the credit cards, but otherwise it is prudent to just be aware of it. So the next part will be being aware of advertisements that make you sell. Yes, there are a lot of advertisements, there are influencers around, and there are enticing advertisements. Just try to identify advertisements in which, or there will be subtle advertisements which you will never be able to point out, and they'll try to entice you to make that purchase, to go ahead and buy it. So be aware of advertisements, so that you don't get enticed and you make any decisions logically, and you don't get into, or you don't commit your money really fast. So identify the pitfalls of being sold, because advertisements are actually to sell, and if you buy that thing or if you go for it, you're being sold. So do you really need it? Or be aware of the advertisements. If you really need it, then go for it. If not, just know that he's just trying to sell me the things which I don't want. So again, there are a lot of influences in social media. Be aware of those influences, because they will try to sell the things which they are associated with and which we don't want. A lot of things which we don't want actually, and they end up with us. So there's a nice line in a movie called Fight Club. Things that you buy end up things that you own end up owning you. So this happens if you don't want things and you keep buying it, and then it will keep owning you because you start to pay EMIs for those things. So they become your masters. So again, insurance is not an investment. Just know that. I mean, many people will start selling you insurance as an investment model, but insurance is never an investment. Insurance, if at all you need it, go for a term insurance. That will help you save for the future. Whenever something happens to you, or untoward happens to you, it will help your family. But insurance, apart from anything else, is not investments. It is just pure advertisement tactics to take money out of you. Know what are your needs and what are your wants. Wants can be luxury. Needs is like having a pair of good clothes, a place to stay, and my basic requirements are my needs. And my wants can be my luxury and many other things. So know what is your needs and your wants. So start being a discipline while spending. The more you have, the more you spend. This is actually the problem. If you be undisciplined, like we discussed, like the people living in paycheck to paychecks, and they earn more than 80 lakhs annum in US, because they're not disciplined in their spending ways. They have habits and they have a lifestyle to fit into, and then they spend money to fit into that lifestyle. So even if you have more, the more you would spend. Don't think that you spend money. But once you're not aware of these traps, once you're not aware of the problems related to the consumption, you will end up having the same habit going forward, even if you have more money. That is what the traps are. You need to understand that. So we need to be disciplined from the day one. And these are some mental models. Whenever you have something to buy, have these mental models. Do these things so that you don't end up buying something which you don't need. Delay your purchase by a week. If at all you want to buy an iPhone, or you want to buy a laptop, or you want to buy a nice bike, just hold on, delay the purchase for a week. Even after a week, if you still have that need to buy like Kantipata, or it will help me, or XYZ, what have you, if you have good reasons, then go ahead and buy it. And not, then leave it. Because delaying a purchase by week will solve the next problem, which is delayed gratification. There's something called instant gratification. I have done so much of work. I need something for myself. So that is called instant gratification. அவ்வளோ கஷ்டப்பட்டு இது பண்ணியிருக்கேன், எனக்கு வந்து இவ்வளோ சேலரி வந்திருக்கு, this is for me. I will gratify myself instantly. I will not wait for XYZ. I have this has to come for me at the day one. How many of us feel like that? I mean, probably now your students, while going there in the real world, you will have this dilemma. You know, work hard, burn the midnight oil. So when the salary comes, I'll go and buy this particular thing. So that is actually instant gratification. Don't fall into the trap of instant gratification. Delayed gratification will really help you. It's like that slow things which will come, but it will come really big. So, and delayed gratification will help you with hyperbolic discounting. So what is hyperbolic discounting is tendency to people to choose smaller or sooner rewards, which is sooner rewards in sense the instant gratification, in comparison to larger and later rewards. Think about the bigger rewards. If you invest this, instead of buying this iPhone for 50K, to see if you invest this amount in buying equity or shares, and then that money they grows, it will grow multifold, because iPhone, if you buy today, it's going to only be depreciating asset, and it will lose its value in the next 3 years. But a good share or good stock which you have bought may appreciate in value over time, and you will get the later part, which is larger and later reward. So this is called hyperbolic discounting. So sometimes we are into the social proof. I'm in the group. I have to show that I'm suitable for this group. So we actually, our tendency to think and act as we are, as the others are around us. We'll try to match them, even if we are not capable of matching them. I mean, you can actually match what they buy, but you cannot match their wealth. They may be wealthy enough. They may be having the other source of income to support them. So we cannot match their wealth. What is the point then matching what they own? There's no point at all. So then this social proof will lead to the last point, which is comparison trap. Let's not compare with anyone. Compare yourself with what you are. Because all this mental model, delayed gratification, hyperbolic discounting, social proof, comparison trap will actually help you to not fall into the trap of spending your money. It will make you aware, and then you see it will lead to the larger reward in the later stage. And it's going to be a slow process, and that's why you see this nice. I like this image. This image is what appears to be is not what you see. See, on the right hand side, this rabbit would have a nice leaf, a bigger leaf, which he has to show off. But ultimately, he might have a small carrot, and that carrot is actually his wealth. If you just see the social proof in comparison, you may want to match the other person, and you might just want to show it off to him. But ultimately, he or she may not have that wealth underneath them. They just want to show off. This is actually showing off to be rich, but not wealthy. The one on the rabbit on the left hand side, he may not have things to show off. He may not have a BMW. He may not have a very lousy lifestyle, or an iPhone to hold. But if you look underneath, this is something like he has a huge amount of wealth that he's actually been accumulated, and that is growing passively and silently. And he doesn't have to show anyone. Ultimately, what will matter is what wealth you're having in hand. So this is what actually matters. It doesn't matter what you show off to others. It's easy to be rich, but it's difficult to accumulate wealth. And wealth is what will stay with